Well, hello, and Happy New Year. This is Tarot to a T, and today we're going to do a January 2023 reading for the sign of Virgo. If this is the first time to my channel, welcome Virgo. Glad to see you here. And if you're returning, welcome back. We got all kinds of cards flying out in my hand, so let me concentrate here for a second. This is a general reading. It's a general inquiry. What message does Virgo need to hear for the beginning of what should be a glorious year 2023 in January? Wow. It really is trying to tell me something. Okay, cards of advice, then we'll get started, okay? Really easy. Sometimes this takes a few minutes, but this is coming very nicely right out here. So there's something we need to get out in the open for you. So, okay, let's get into it. 10 of Clubs. You might have wrapped up a major cycle recently. This is always about good news, though. This 10 of Clubs in general, it also involves travel. Now, I tend to look at it either metaphorically or literally traveling. And the traveling could be for a variety of reasons, but it's always for a good reason. There's always goodness behind it. There's never tragedy or obligation, you know, those types of things. So, just a couple of examples. You could be in the mode of traveling in the first half of the year here, or the first month, I should say. And you could be invited to travel. Let's say you have somebody who either wants to go overseas or somebody you know that lives far, far away, and you could be invited to accompany them, for example. Now, if it's more metaphorical, it's traveling, for example, from one mind space to another. We have to turn over more cards to see what I feel like I'm talking too fast, so if I'm jumbling my words, I think I'm getting a lot of information really quickly. So we have to turn some more cards over to see how this applies. But you could be traveling mentally into a better space, or traveling physically. Or you could have traveled, let's say you moved. That's also a form of travel, right? 4 of Diamonds, very nice. So this indicates you had some kind of, sorry, there's some smudge on the card, some kind of windfall. It doesn't mean you're necessarily over the top rich, but there's always a warning with this card not to overspend, so it was probably sizable. We'll keep that in mind there. Oh wow, Tower card. Ace of Spades. It's also about a new start. I'm sure you've heard from other readers, you should never look at this as doom and gloom necessarily. Now you might have just come out of a period of doom and gloom. I don't remember your last reading off the top of my head, Virgo, but let's say you exited a relationship or some kind of work situation ended. It's about having that structure fall, but you still have that foundation to rebuild. So you're in the process of a new start here, is what tells me. And you're off to a very good start with abundance and possibly some travel that's involved. King of Spades. This could be somebody you're dealing with. I'll first address that. It could be an air sign, Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. Now the King of Spades, it naturally has some kind of authority and power. It could have authority and power over you, or they could just be somebody who kind of, you know, carries themselves that way. They're very good in business. They're very practical. They're very logical. Very good. Mentally, they're just very solid. But here's the caveat: there's somebody that you're not on the same page with, so they cause problems. In your mind, they're causing problems. It could just be that you don't see eye to eye on something. You don't agree on something. It could be something as simple as that. It could have something to do with this tower, like if you just freed yourself from a relationship, for example, which I could kind of see driving with the Ten of Clubs and you literally traveling on from that relationship. And there could be all kinds of travel involved with in your relationship, right? It could be moving, and then there could be just needing to get out and explore the world a little bit, you know, get away from things. What else can you tell me about Virgo's situation? Wow, there's just like too many cards coming out. I had that happen 3 times there. Please give me just a couple of cards or one card to tell me more about Virgo's situation. Okay, I'll take these 2. 8 of Clubs, Jack of Hearts. 8 of Clubs talks about a crossroads decision. It could also mean that you're stuck on an idea or an outcome. With the Jack of Hearts, this is water energy, Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer. It could be a younger water sign that you're dealing with. And you could be trying to make a decision about them. Like if you want to get involved with them. If it's not a person, the Jack of Hearts to me represents somebody who wants to have their heart open or has their heart open. So there's a degree of vulnerability with that. You could be trying to decide if you should open your heart back up, just in general, or yeah, maybe this water sign has caught your eye, and you're trying to decide if you even want to go there. You know, it's as simple as that. I know Virgo can be kind of a recluse, a hermit. They keep things to themselves, or they're just, you know, they're not into necessarily going out and being the social butterfly. The 5 of Hearts, Ace of Hearts. Yes, you're definitely on this new start after a split from somebody, because the 5 of Hearts is about separation. The 5 of Hearts can mean separation in other contexts, such as having to travel a lot for work, or, you know, going off to college, or going off to take a class of some sort, or going on a retreat. That's just not a couple days, may involve like a week. But I think there's a strong indication here that the new start with the Ace of Spades that came out, the Tower, and this Ace of Hearts, you're definitely embarking on a new start after something ended. Also with the Ace of Hearts, I'll mention it's very important to you at this time that you follow your instincts. You're following your gut. You're following really what you want, not what somebody else wants or what you feel like the world expects of you. There's a degree of that. There's a degree of independence, of breaking out of the molds. What else can you tell me about Virgo's new start? And I think that King of Spades over here, I think that was who you were dealing with. Yeah, I think they definitely caused problems for you if you split up with them, right? That's a given. Just a couple of cards, not too many, not too many. We can't do too many at once. Not, it's just too much to handle. There we go. That's nice. Pentacles. So the Queen of Diamonds and the 10 of Diamonds. The Queen of Diamonds I tend to see as Taurus energy. It could be another earth sign, Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo. It could be you. But I generally see this as the Taurus sign, just because I know Tauruses are particularly good with finance. They don't tend to overspend, and I wouldn't call them frugal, but they're kind of on the side of frugalness. You know, they want to be generous, but more often than not, they don't spend as freely as you might, Virgo, for example. Now, the 10 of Diamonds is interesting energy to come out with that. That's all about prosperity and success. And again, wrapping up a chapter with the 10. So I think you might have split up with somebody, and you're feeling quite prosperous at this time. Again, you may not be a millionaire. Doesn't matter, our definitions of prosperity and success are different for all of us. Especially with that 4 of Diamonds that came out initially. I think there was some kind of settlement, you know, between you two with this King of Spades, for example. And now you have some wealth to, I wouldn't say play around with, but at your disposal. Very, very intriguing, huh? So there is the warning about overspending with the four diamonds. It's very logical. Not saying you're going to do that. You're just kind of being, it's just kind of a gentle warning. But it looks like whatever occurred is over. Again, wrapped up a major chapter there, and with the Ten of Clubs, another major chapter wrapped up in your life. So just to kind of recap, after something that was relatively disappointing, monumental as far as a loss, you're rebuilding from that. I think it all has to do with a relationship that ended. I think you're just trying to decide if you're ready to pursue other relationships or to get involved with someone else. I think that's what the Eight of Clubs is about. And yeah, it's very important that you follow your heart and what you really want to do. Not what you should do, not what's expected, not what the world thinks you should do. For example, they generally say, oh, you should never just go into another relationship as soon as you've broken it off with one person. There's different reasons why, and I personally believe that we should give ourselves a break. But perhaps you're thinking about breaking out of that conventionality and pursuing something sooner than you thought. So that would be kind of like going against what worldly expectations are. Just for an example, that may not be the case for you there, but for some reason I was drawn to kind of outline that for you. But yeah, I think you're sitting very nicely financially, so there's no worries there. We're going to go ahead and look at your cards of advice. And again, this is a general reading, so if it doesn't fit your situation, by all means, don't make it fit. Take what resonates with you and throw out the rest. Ace of Clubs, you are being gently encouraged and nudged to embark on some kind of new study, learning a new skill, perhaps getting involved with a new kind of career. The Ace of Clubs is about researching and acquiring new information. It's also a new start. Perhaps you've been thinking about that, especially now that you've broken free from this relationship of the past. And yeah, that relationship is over. Two of Spades is kind of a final confirmation that things have ended with usually it's a person. I mean, it could be from an organization, but more often than not, and since we were kind of talking about relationship down here, it just kind of indicates there's no going back. And it's a complete break off from somebody. It's complete disharmony and disconnection. Sometimes this just talks about friendships and not necessarily romantic. So again, take it how it fits your situation. Three of Spades. You seem to be worried about something though. This is some ongoing stress. I'm not sure what that worry would be about. Just perhaps about the future in general. The only thing I'm kind of going back to is this indecision about whether it's safe for you to feel vulnerable and to open your heart to the possibility of a new relationship or someone in particular. That could be what you're worried about. Or just like, when you've been involved with someone for a while, it takes a while to get your bearings and to figure out where you stand. And what your new life is going to look like. It's not about hasty decisions, right? You can take your time now. It's not involving someone else necessarily. I think your last reading, Virgo, was about breaking it off with somebody and being in this waiting space. I just remembered something like that. It just came to me. If you want to see that last reading, I have a playlist for you on my channel. It'll also pop up in the right-hand corner, the playlist that is. On the left-hand corner, your last video will pop up. So if you would like to review that and go back and see some of that. Oh, the threes also talk about there being another element involved. It's kind of just complicating the situation for you, not making it really easy to feel a certain way, for example. Kind of like when your heart is pulled in two different directions. You do desire companionship, though. Look at that. Two of Hearts is all about that. Harmony and balance. So as far as achieving that, the only indication I'm seeing is, besides you being worried about things and it being completely over with this person. So if there's any inkling in your mind that maybe it wasn't over, it does look like it's final. Exploring new ideas in general and learning something new is what you are being directed, that will lead you to possibly finding this companionship. That's what I'm getting from that advice. Okay, more cards of advice for Virgo, please, before we wrap this up. It's actually not a bad place to be at the beginning of a year. It's kind of like it coincides with a relationship being over and starting over. You know, it kind of coincides with the calendar. So it's kind of what do you call it? Synchronicious? Synchronicious. Is that how you say the word? It's in synchrony. I'm not saying it right. Synchronicity with itself. There you go. 8 of Diamonds. So if you have thought about starting a new side hustle or starting some kind of online business, or again, kind of going off into a new area, learning new skills, hello. This is the entrepreneurial card, and it talks about putting time and effort and energy into something that's going to pay off. And big time on it's like returns on investments, but it's always a solo pursuit. It's not something that somebody else carved out for you. It's something you intentionally, with your intention, went in to achieve and to create for yourself. So it's not about necessarily, getting a bonus at work. It's much bigger than that. It's more personal. You know what I'm saying? It could involve you working towards a promotion, of course, but I see it as more independent energy than that, not being attached to a company, a brand, or whatever. 5 of Diamonds, this indicates to me you're going to have a change in your financial situation. Again, because you already had these awesome 10 of Diamonds and Queen of Diamonds down here. I hope it's still in the frame of the camera. I try to do that. And this windfall. This is the result of a negotiation or settlement, though. Perhaps the settlement negotiations with this person you broke things off with is not done completely. Maybe you thought it was. But it's indicating to me there's going to be another change. Any more cards of advice for Virgo? Any more cards of advice for the Virgo? More Diamonds, Pentacles. Yeah, you're gonna be looking real nice financially here if you aren't already. This is exciting. Not because finances are everything or money is everything, but I know personally when finances aren't great, and then suddenly, it seems like the tide has changed and things start happening for you, it's really exciting because it brings on a new sense of security. And we all need security in this day and age, right? Unfortunately, it's a necessity for most of us. Not everybody. Some people figured out how to survive without money, and I admire them greatly. But the 6 of Diamonds talks about options and opportunities coming your way that will allow you to take more financial responsibility than you've ever dreamed of, Virgo. You're on a awesome, phenomenal path to success in some manner. I do think it's an entrepreneurial pursuit, though. I think it's about something you come up with, or maybe how you come up with an idea to help a company or an employer you're already associated with you're going to be rewarded for efforts. You get what I'm saying? I mean, it's going to be something that you're going to have your name attached to. You're going to get the credit for it, whatever form that takes. And you might have to learn some new skills or learn some kind of new information you're going to have to acquire to get there. So if you've had something bouncing around in your head, definitely follow that and follow your heart. Follow your heart. So I am going to wrap it up there. I'm feeling this is a nice completion. It's just about you kind of sloughing off this old energy from this relationship, and I do think you had something in that last reading, it keeps bugging me, where you had this lingering kind of unresolved energy, pain around something that ended. I think that's gone. I'm not really seeing that here, and I think you would agree. You're ready to rebuild from this tower, whatever it was. I mean, you're primed for it. It is the perfect time to start something brand new in this year. And it's going to get you closer to this because you still desire this companionship. No matter how much of a loner you are, you still desire that companionship. And you're going to make it. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it helped. I hope it gave you some ideas, some advice, some gentle guidance. If you'd like to see when the next video comes out, go ahead and hit subscribe notifications so you'll get the notification on your phone. Or you can save my video so you can find my channel again and just check in with me. That's perfectly okay as well. Again, Happy New Year. I hope things are going well for you and that the holiday season was kind to you. And I will see you again soon. Take care, Virgo.